Good morning, class. Welcome to this session of Modern Organization and Management. In our today's session, we shall see regarding goals in an organization. Now, speaking about goals in an organization, now at the top of what is called as goal hierarchy, the organization's reason for existence itself shall be explained. Now the mission of the organization, it always describes the values of the organization, the aspirations of the organization, and the reasons for why does any of the activities. Now, a well-defined mission is the basis for development of all the plans and goals which would follow it. Now, without a clear mission, goals and plans may be developed in a very confused state and in a haphazardly manner. And it might not even take the organization in the correct direction in which it has to go. Now, the formal mission of an organization shall always be broadly stated, and it shall also speak about the purpose of the organization, which distincts which differentiates the organization from other organization of similar type. Now a well designed mission statement can always increase employee motivation and also the performance of the organization. Now, whatever particulars or whatever things that are included or whatever the content of the mission statement, usually it focuses on the customer and mainly on market. And also it identifies the fields or the ways which the organization wants to take into consideration. Now some of the mission statement also describe company characteristics, now such as maybe the corporate values what we call, or the quality of the product, the location of the facilities, and also the attitude of the organization towards employees. Now, usually this mission statement often it tells the company's philosophy as well as the purpose of the company. Now, speaking about goals and plans, the broad statements uh, we have already discussed regarding this, but to tell it in briefly once again, goals and plans are broad statements which describes the organization as to where it wants to be in the future, and these are also called as strategic goals. Now they are such statements which pertain to the organization as a whole rather than considering specific divisions or departments. Now strategic goals are also can be called as official goals, now because they are stated intention of what the organization wants to achieve. Now, strategic plans also define the action steps of which the company intends to attain these strategic goals. Now, the strategic plan is always a blueprint that describes or tells about the organizational activities, and also it tells how the resources shall be allocated in the organization. Now, to speak about resource, it could be in the form of cash, personnel who are working in the organization, the space, and also it could be the facilities of the organization. Now, these strategic planning, as we discussed earlier, it tends to be of long term in nature, and it also defines the organizational actions what it has to take to plan from maybe for the future of coming 2 to 5 years. Now, the main aim or purpose of strategic plan is to you know change the organizational goals into realities within some specified time period. Now, once these strategic goals are formulated, the next step is that the organization has to define the tactical goals. Now, these are the results of major divisions and departments in the organization, or what this departments or division of the organization wants to achieve. Now, these goals also take into consideration the middle management, and also describes what are the major subunits of the organization must do in order for the organization to achieve the overall goals of the organization. Now, these tactical plans, it is always designed to help execute the major strategic plans, and also to accomplish, some of the specific part of the company's entire strategy. Now, these tactical plans, as we can tell, it has a shorter time horizon as compared to that of strategic plan. Now, to speak about this term tactical. Now, this the word tactical, it originally comes from the military. Now, when we speak about a business or non-profit organization, tactical plan, it always describes what major departments and the organization subunits will have to do to implement the organization strategic plan. Now, speaking about this tactical plan, usually tactical plan might also includes what is called as cross training employees. So they can switch to different jobs as departmental changes might be necessary, or allowing order tracks to transfer to jobs at headquarters. Maybe when the order is at the height or of during some of the peak times. Now, usually when we speak about this tactical plans, now it is the work of middle manager, to take the strategic plans or broad plans of the organization, and from that he has to identify specific and tactical plans. Now, speaking about this, there is one more kind of plan, that is operational plan. Now, these operational plans, they are developed at the lower levels of the organization. Now, these operational plans, they specify what are the actions that are to be taken towards achieving the operational goals of the organization, and thereby it supports the tactical plan. Now, the operational plan is the department manager's tool so that he can work on a daily basis and also on a weekly operation. Now, here goals are stated in quantitative terms, and the department plan, it also describes how goals will be achieved. Now, operational planning also specifies plan for department manager, supervisors, and also individual employees. Now, speaking about this operational plan, one thing we should remember is schedules are an important component of operational planning. Now, these schedules they define precise time frames, especially for the completion of each of the operational goals that is necessary for the organization to achieve both its tactical goals and also its strategic goals. And also, we should always remember that these operational goals should be such that it should coordinate with the budget, because the resources must be allocated to complete whatever the activities the organization plans. Now, next, what we have is alignment of goals. Now, speaking about alignment of goals, it is nothing but how you are going to arrange your goals. Now, whatever goals we plan, whatever ideas we come up with, now effectively designing all these organizational goals are to be aligned into a hierarchy. That is to tell, the achievements of the goals at low levels should be such that it should permit the attainment of the higher level goals. Now, this pyramid is also called as means ends chain. Now, as we discussed earlier, operational goals are the ones which lead to the achievement of the tactical goals. Now, once you achieve tactical goals, it in turn lead to the attainment of strategic goals. Now, operational performance or the organizational performance is the result or the outcome of how well all these different kinds of plans or how these interdependent elements are being aligned in such a way that all the individuals who are working or all the teams which are working and each department that is there in the organization, they are in 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 an effort to attain the specific goals which ultimately help the organization fulfill its mission. Now, earlier, or these strategic goals, they were traditionally considered as the responsibility of the top management. Now, tactical goals is that of the middle management, and operational goals that is of the first line supervisors and workers. But in today's scenario, some of the companies, they are putting greater involvement of all the employees in goal setting and planning at each level. Now, having said that, the next we have is criteria or characteristics of effective goals or for effective goals. Now so that we can ensure goal setting benefits the organization, these goals they must have some characteristics, and also some of the guidelines should be adopted when we try to plan. Now the characteristics of both goals and goal setting process are being shown in your PPT. Now these characteristics they include for all the organizational goals and all kinds like the strategic, the tactical, and also even the operational level. Now the first characteristic is that it should be specific and measurable. That is to tell, not all the times it can be measured, but when possible, these goals should always be expressed in terms of quantity or in quantitative terms. To give an example, maybe like increasing profits by 2% or having zero or incomplete sales order forms, or maybe like decreasing the scrap by 1%, or may also be like increasing average teacher effectiveness rating from 3.5 to 3.7 or any number, but it should, whenever it is possible, it should be expressed in quantitative terms. Having said that, not all goals can be expressed in numerical terms, but vague goals will always have little motivating power for employees. Now, by necessity, goals are qualitative as well as quantitative, especially at the top of the organization. Now, the important point is that goals be precisely defined and also allow for measurable progress. Now, the second one is that cover key result area. That is to tell, goals cannot be set for each and every aspects of the employee behavior or for that of the organizational performance. Now, if at all it happens in such a way, then the number of the goals that are to be achieved would make them meaningless. Instead, the managers are they have to come up with goals based on the idea of what is called as choice and clarity. That is to tell, out of all the activities that are to be done, if at all a few of the activities are being carefully chosen, clearly defined, and which direct towards the goals, if at all the organization can focus its attention on more powerful activities, energy, and resources, then it should or such a goal should always be effective. Now these managers they should identify some of the key result areas, maybe up to 4 or 5 for any of the organizational department or any of the job. Now these key result areas are especially those activities which can contribute most to the company's performance and also for competitiveness. Now most of the companies always uses a balanced approach to goal setting. The next one is challenging but realistic. That is to tell, the goals should be challenging or it should involve some amount of taking risk. But then the organization should always keep in mind that though it should be challenging, it should always see that it should be such a goal that the organization can achieve. That is to tell, goals should be challenging but not unreasonably difficult. When an organization comes up with an unrealistic goal, they usually set employees up for their own failure and always lead to a decrease in employee morale. But we should also remember this, that if goals are too easy, now there are chances that the employees may not feel motivated at all. Now, stretch goals are extremely ambitious, but realistic goals that can change employees to meet high standards are always better. The next one is the goal should be such that it can define time period. Now, goal should specify the time period over which they will be achieved. Now, a time period is nothing but a deadline stating the date on which goal attainment can be measured. Now, yes, the last one is the goal should be linked to results. Now, the ultimate impact of goal, it will always depend on the extent to which maybe things such as how much salary might increase, how much promotions would be allowed, and what kind of rewards shall be given. Now, it shall definitely be based on such criteria. Now, employees also they pay attention to what gets noticed and rewarded in the organization. And the people also who attain goals should be rewarded for doing so. Now, always in the organization, it happens so that rewards give meaning and significance to goals and also help commit employees to achieve goals. Now, managers should also remember that now, if at all there is any kind of failure to attain goals, it might be often due to factors outside that of employees' control. That is to tell, now there might be a failure to achieve financial goal in the organization. It need not always be a mistake of employees, but sometimes it might also be connected with the fact that there is a drop in the market demand due to the entire industry's recession. So, an employee could not be expected to reach it. Now, a reward might still be appropriate if the employee, partially achieved goals under huge or under a very difficult circumstance. Now, this is one of the example for the hierarchy of goals, especially given the condition of the manufacturing organization. First shall be the mission, then comes the strategic goals. From the strategic goals, there shall be derivation for the tactical goals, and for achieving tactical goals, there shall be operational goals. Now, whatever has been given inside of this is just the explanation, that is regarding what is the mission of the company. To achieve the mission, how shall be the strategic goal, and based on what strategic goal they have to achieve, how should be the tactical goals for each of the departments, and how does each of the department plans its day-to-day activities or its weekly operations. Okay. Now moving forward, the next one is regarding the characteristics of the objective. Now we have already discussed regarding what is objective. Now speaking about the characteristics or the nature or how does our objective shall be. Now the first characteristic is that usually in a business organization the objectives they tend to form an hierarchy or to tell they tend to form a pyramid structure wherein there shall be the main objective, and from that main objective or to achieve the main aim there shall be smaller plans or objectives planned. Now, in many of the organization, these objectives are structured in a hierarchy of importance. Now, there are objectives within the objectives. Now, all these require painstaking definition and also close analysis. Now, if they are to be useful separately and profitably as a whole, that is to tell, from the overall objective, when we derive divisional objective, each of the divisional objective must be in such a way that they should be useful separately and also they should be profitable when they are combined. Now, the hierarchy of the objectives is a graded series in which usually the organization's goals are supported by each of the succeeding managerial level down to the level of the individual. Now, usually the achievement of the objective of each unit in the organization will contribute to the objective of the next higher in the hierarchy. Now, each of the operations will have a simple objective which must fit it and add to the final objective, and therefore there should be no any kind of the work undertaken in an organization unless it has the capacity to contribute to the overall objective of the organization. Now, in telling this, it is better to understand the means and ends chain in an organization to know how these objectives are connected to one another. Now, in the goal of hierarchy, the objective of each lower level becomes the means to the ends or the objectives of the next higher level in the organization. That is to tell, the goals at the second level are the means used for achieving the ends at the top level. And thus, each level of objective stands as ends relative to levels which is above it. Now that is to tell, now the broad objective of maybe the customer oriented growth, it can always be accomplished if two of the divisions or departments in an especially in a plastic industry, uh, if the plastic and metal products, sorry, now in an plastic and metal based manufacturing organization, if at all, the main aim is that it is the products are to be such that it is customer oriented and also can bring profitable growth to the organization. Now, the achievement of this can be done majorly or depending upon how the two divisions, especially the plastic and metal products, work out their individual goals. Now, if each of the department, if they can achieve what has been said, then together as a whole, organization might achieve effectively. The next one is objectives from a network. That is to tell each of the objective written, they would be in such a way that they can form a network in the organization. Now, they shall always be interrelated and also dependent on each other. Now, this element of network, it tells that once objectives are being established for every department and for the individuals in the organization, now these subsidiary objectives should always contribute to the basic objective of the total organization. Now, if the various objective in the organization will be unable to support one another, people may pursue goals that may be good for their own self interest. Therefore, usually the managers, they have to trade off among the conflicting objectives and see that components of the network should fit one another. The next characteristics of objective is that objectives shall always be in many in number or multiplicity of objective. Now, that is to tell at every level in the hierarchy, goals are likely to be multiplied. That is to tell, the marketing division may have the objective of sales and distribution of the product. Now, this objective can still further be broken down into groups of objectives. For managers of functional department, like maybe for product, advertising, research and promotion. That is to tell, now the advertising manager's goals may include either designing product message carefully, create a very nice or favorable image of the product in the market, and maybe advertising it all over different media. Now, similar goals can also be set for other marketing manager also. Now, to describe the single specific or the main goal of an organization is to say very little about it. Now, it turns out, usually that there are several goals involved in achieving one goal. Now, this may be due to the fact that the enterprise has to meet internal as well as external challenges of the environment efficiently. Now, internal problems may hover around, profitability, survival, growth, and so on. And speaking about external problems, it might be because of the challenges which are being thrown in the environment by the government, the stockholders, the customers, or the society at large. Now, in order to meet all these conflicting or challenging demands from these different internal and external groups, the organizations, they generally pursue multiple objectives. Moreover, we should remember that there is no single objective which can be, which can place the organization on the path of prosperity and progress in the long run. Now, the one of the last characteristic of objective is that the organizational objectives should be related to time. That is to tell, it is better if it is in a way either long range objective or in a short range objective. Now, long range objective is nothing but which can be extended over 5 or more years and are the ultimate or what can be called as dream of the organization. Now, they are abstractions of the entire hierarchy of the objectives of the organization. And when we speak about this short range objective or the medium range objective, they usually depict or reflect the immediate and attainable goals in the short range time or from 1 year or 2 to 4 years. Now, the short range and medium range objective, these are the means for achieving long term goals, and the long term goals supply a framework within which the lower level goals are designed, and thereby all these goals reinforce each other or they are interdependent on each other in such a way that the total result shall always be greater than the sum of the effects taken individually, or what we call as synergy. And that is why goal setting is called as synergetic process. And also we should remember that in order to remain viable, every organization, it needs to set goals in all the time periods, that is for a short range, a medium range objective, and a long range objective. The next topic is importance of objective, or why is that attention should be given in making the objectives. Now, the objectives are essential for any organization. Now, the organizations produce and market economic products and services, or universities, they, they usually provide different kinds of teaching and research. Now, governments provide welfare and security and so on. Now, the organizations are the instruments to attainment. Now, without some purpose, there is no need for the organization. Now, all organizations are goal seeking, that is to tell, they exist for the purpose of achieving some goals efficiently and effectively. Now, the objective, they usually affect the size, shape, and design of the organization, and they are also important in motivating and directing personnel. Now, usually the objectives, they serve the following functions. The first is legitimacy. That is to tell, the objectives describe the purpose of the organization so that people know what it stands for and will accept its existence and continuance. That is to tell, because of it, just by looking at the name, we know what that company sells. For example, whenever we hear Ford, we understand it sells American transportation. We hear Godrej, we understand it sells quality products. Now, objectives help to legitimize the presence of the organization in its environment. Now, the organization can then emphasize its uniqueness, identity, and its raison d'etre. The next one is direction. Now, objectives provide guidelines for organizational efforts. They usually keep attention focused on common purpose. Now, once objectives are formulated, they become what is called as pole star. Now, usually earlier, before centuries ago, when people used to travel through boats, for them, even before the maps were discussed, they used to consider the pole star as a thing to navigate. Uh, Now they keep attention focused on common purpose. That is to tell, once objectives are formulated, they become the pole star by which we can or by which the OH can be navigated. Now, every activity is directed towards the objectives, and every individual they contribute to meet the goals. Now, without seeing the target, a manager would be, something like a blindfolded archer expending useless effort and creating havoc. The next one is coordination. Now, speaking about coordination, the objectives they keep activities usually on the right track. Now, they make a behavior in the organization in a more rational way. They bring in more coordination and thereby make organization more effective because everyone knows what is expected. Now, in setting effective goals, managers usually help members at all levels of the organization to understand how they can best achieve their goals by directing their behavior towards the goals of the organization. Now, the next one is benchmark for success. Now, objectives usually they serve as performance standards against which actual performance may be checked. Now, they provide a benchmark usually for assessment. Now, they also help in the control of human effort in an organization. Now, the last one is motivation. That is to tell, goals are always motivators. Now, setting of goals, which is both specific and challenging, always lead to an increase in the performance because it makes some of the things clear to the individual in a way as to tell what he is supposed to do. Now, he or she can compare how well they are doing now versus how well they had done in the past. And in some cases, how well they are performing maybe in comparison to that of others. So, these are some of the importance of objective. Now, the next topic is regarding okay, if objectives are very much important for an organization, then what are the areas or what are the departments or what are the elements in an organization which needs this objective? Now, this particular study was done by Peter Drucker when he was working as a consultant for the General Electric. He identified that there are 8 key areas in which usually the organization establish objectives. Now, as shown in the PPT, it is market standing. The next field is productivity, then comes the physical and financial resources, then we have profitability, innovation, managerial performance and developments, work performance and attitudes, and public and social responsibility. Now, speaking about the first one, or the market standing, now, this is the foundation areas for any management. Now, essentially, an organization exists to obtain results in this area itself. Now, market standing is the answer to the question regarding the optimum market share which the firm should try to capture ultimately. Now, this requires a careful analysis of customers, products and services, market segments, and distribution channels. Now, the next one is innovation. Now, usually in every business, there are 3 kinds of innovation. First, it can be innovation in product or the service or the main thing that the company is offering for the public. The second innovation can be in marketplace or in terms of consumer behavior and the values of the consumer, and also innovation in the various skills and activities which are needed to make the products and service and to bring them to the market. Now, the main problem in setting innovational objective is, the difficulty of measuring the importance of various innovations. Now, management must first of all anticipate the innovation goals which are needed to reach marketing goals. Now, it must also find out the technological developments in all the areas in the business. For example, the survival of insurance company, if we take into consideration, it will be depending on what are the new development or the new forms of insurance, what can be a better modification for the existing policies, and also finding a cheaper way of selling policies and settling of the claims, etc. Now, operating in a competitive world forces usually the business firms to place emphasis on innovation goals. The third thing that we can take is productivity. Now, speaking about productivity, now this productivity is the ratio of an organization's inputs to its outputs. Now, all businesses they have the same resources to work with. Now, it is the quality of the management that differentiate one business from another. Now, it must decide as to what inputs of labor, equipment, and finances are necessary to produce the output of the firm. The next one is physical and financial resources. Now, every business organization they must be such that they can able to bring in resources, all kinds, that is total physical, financial, and human. And once they bring, they must be able to put them to productive use so that they can bring in effective performance. Now, resource mobilization is always a two-step process. It is anticipating the needs of the business and also planning to obtain the resource in a very economical way. Now, once after mobilizing resources, usually one has to say, this is what is available, what do we have to be, how we have to behave, and to get the fullest of the benefits. Now, the next one is managerial performance and development. That is to tell, now, in order to stay in and remain profitable, every business they need strong, innovative managers. So, it is highly important, especially in the case of large organization, to set objectives relating to the quality of the management performance. Now, the development of managers at various levels in the organization. The next one is worker performance and attitudes. Now, the organization must provide tangible benefits to the individuals working for its growth. Now, the workers, they want wage, managers, they want salaries, owners, they want profits. Now, these are the inducements that the organization must provide in order to obtain contribution from various groups. Now, most of the routine or normal work is performed by operational level employees in the organization. Now, unless goals are achieved in terms of output per employee, quantity of quality of product, the organization activities may be disrupted by labor, strike or some of the union problems. The next one is the profitability. Now, one thing we should remember is that profit objectives are the important one for accomplishing other objectives, like maybe covering risk in the business, ensuring supply of future capital for modernization and expansion, and also satisfying customer needs. Now, we should know that a fundamental objective of the business organization, it is to produce and distribute products and services that the customers are willing to buy. Now, its reasons for being is to create value. Now, utility must be created or consumers will spend their money somewhere else. Now, profits are essential for survival and also for the growth of the firm. Now, they are the rewards for the effective utilization of resources in creating value for consumers. Now, instead of trying to maximize profit, the firm must try to create utilities for consumers. And the last one is public and social responsibility. Now, to achieve economic objective, a firm must produce the goods or the services that the customer wants. Now, if a firm is not able to create economic value for consumers or for society, then there are least chances that it may stay in the business long enough that it can make profit. And if we observe in recent years, the social responsibility of the business has become a matter of concern for many of the business undertakings. Now, here responsibility usually involves a sense of obligation on the part of the business towards the general public. So, these are some of the areas which needs the attention of objective. Now, having said that, you might have understood whatever we have discussed for today's class. If you have any kind of doubt, you can surely ask the question.